let's sing the nigun of today's learning, because it's from this Parsha. It's from this Parsha. You all know it. Even Hashem levado, Hashem levado, Vayimahu, Hashem levado, Hashem levado, Vayimahu, ויבשר יעקב לבדו, ויהיה בקישימוי, עד לא יישא שחר, עד לא יישא שחר. ויבשר יעקב לבדו, ויהיה בקישימוי, עד לא יישא שחר, עד לא יישא שחר. Thank you. Sash, you know what? Yeah. Oh, bam 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 boom boom boom. Bam 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 bam. I just remembered something, chevre, that this nigun, I had the shlichus of being close to Reb Shlomo's sister. He had the sister was older, and then there was the twin brothers. And she was the sweetest. She was such a Shlomo chassid. She mamish was a Shlomo chassid. She was so crazy about her brothers, but she was really a Shlomo chassid. Those of you that are certain yeshivish American background, her name was Shalamis Levovitz. She was married to Reb Simcha Zisa Levovitz, who I was also very close to at a certain shlav before they died. Reb Simcha Zisa Levovitz is the son of Reb Yerucham Levovitz, the mashgiach from the Mir Yeshiva. It's not exactly the family you'd think that, right? It's so funny because there's Chelkas Talmidei from Mir in Har Menuchos, kind of like when you start to go up the shvil in Har Menuchot, and she's buried with her next to her husband, and right there on the left side, but her brothers and parents are buried literally another minute walk up, also on the left side, on Har Menuchos. I just remember that he told me, her husband, Reb Simcha Zisel, told me that Reb Shlomo wrote this nigun in their home on the Motzei Shabbos in the 70s. I think they were living in Borough Park then. This nigun, how many thousands and thousands are hundreds of thousands of people have sung that nigun since then. Anyway, it's a big schus to sing that nigun. I want to jump into today's learning. Today's a piece from Reb Shlomo. All these pieces on Bereshis, who am I kidding? All these pieces on Bereshis are Pashut. They're speaking to, thank you, Sasha. They're speaking to a door that feels lonely. The lonely syndrome.
Yeah.
Not that anyone here feels lonely, but there's a few people out there in the world that feel a little bit lonely, right? I hope you all feel lonely, based on this shir, though. This type of loneliness that we're going to be speaking about. So Vayishlach Yaakov levado. So I just outside for a second. I think people sometimes try to avoid loneliness at all costs, obviously because they're petrified of being with themselves. So there has to be a Torah of how to be with yourself without it being so threatening and petrifying and scary. Because when I'm with myself, when I'm all alone, when I feel all alone, that's the moment that's most mezuman, that's most opportune for hisgalus haneshama, for my soul to be revealed to me. For my soul, for my etzem of my neshama to be revealed to me. So some people could feel totally alone, being on stage in front of thousands of people, giving a drasha in front of hundreds of people. Some people could be not alone when there's no one else around. The point what we're speaking about over here is, when does your neshama become revealed to you? Now, what do you think that means, chevre, that your neshama becomes revealed to you? What do you think that sounds like? What does that look like? What does that mean? What do you think? When your soul becomes revealed to you, what do you think that means? Lamaisa. Look, what happens then? Reb Shlomo.
I would assume it is the moment when we get an idea what we're here for.
We get an idea of what we're here for.
Yes.
You read ahead. I'm kidding. I know you didn't, but that's so meduyak. That's so exact what you're saying over here. The revelation of my neshama to me is understanding what Hashem had in mind when He created me. That's His galus on neshama. Actually understanding what the Ribono Shel Olam had in mind in His kivyochol, in His machshava, of what He had in mind when He thought of creating me. Now, I want to tell you, many times chevre have told me that they've come to the conclusion, that Hashem had in mind when they created them to mamish have the most painful life. Kivyachol, that's what Hashem had in mind, right? Because that's what they experience. And even though that's what you experience, that's not His galus etzem haneshama. That doesn't mean that your soul is being revealed to you. That is what you're feeling. There are plenty of people like that. There's certain. That's just, this is their chelik. Their inyan is that Hashem just has it in for them. And that's their tikkun. That's not a Jewish concept at all. And in fact, if the Baal Shem HaKodesh came down for one thing, maybe you could say it's to megala, the etzem neshama of a yid, that when you're in touch with the revelation of your own soul, which can only happen in states of being absolutely alone, the outcome is never one that's painful. The revelation of your own soul has to do with wondrous beauty and bliss by everyone, by each person. Some people have really big shlichus. Some people have what would seem like a very small shlichus. But if you see that as His galus etzem haneshama, meaning when your soul is revealed to you, you're never disappointed because it creates shlemus. It creates actually the greatest sense of serenity and calmness inside. So some people are like, no, I don't want to know. I don't want to know the His galus etzem haneshama, because what if I don't like it? There's no such thing. There's no such thing. That's kindergarten stuff. When your soul is revealed to you, and you're in tune with what Hashem had in mind when He thought of creating you, that brings about a shalvas hanefesh, calmness of the heart, and tranquility. But it also brings about an amazing sense at the same time. What's simultaneously taking place is shlichus, is responsibility. Like we always think, shalvas hanefesh comes when everything's just chill and I could relax. No, that's not a Yiddish neshama, it's shalvas hanefesh. A Jewish soul's shalvas hanefesh comes with the sense of, and this is how we do it. This is how we do it. Right? This is how we do it. This is how we go. Right there. You could see how old people are or what their backgrounds were. So based on all this, now we're going to go back into, because basically, what did we just say? V'nizgav Hashem levado bayomahu. That's not in the Parsha. The Medrash teaches this together, right? V'nizgav Hashem levado. The Ribono Shel Olam is levado, and then who else was levado? Vayivser Yaakov levado, vayeovek ish imay ad alos hashachar. This was Yaakov Avinu's moment of his galus hanefesh. And what happens to Yaakov Avinu when he has this moment of his own soul being revealed to him? What does he receive? Yisrael.
Sorry, what is it, Benizgav?
Benizgav is like a milishon, huh? No, I think it means Benizgav Hashem levado is like this lashon of elevation, like it's
Rise up.
What's that?
Rise up.
Yeah, but there's a word for it, like segev kalfon, like that same, like na'ala kaze. V'nizgal Hashem levado bayamahu, right? Where Hashem is up there, it's levad. Okay, let's look inside. It's not such a hard piece today, but I just wanted to share that intro. V'nizgal Hashem levado, ויבשר יעקב לבדו, אברהם אבינו ושרה אימנו, כל עניינם היה שהם התנתקו באמס מהעולם הזה. והתחברו בלי שיר לעולם של השם. Their whole inyan was Avram and Sarah, complete disconnect from this world, and connecting without any bli shir, like endless connection with the world of Hashem. Now here in our Parsha, kan megia Esav. What does Esav want to do? שרוצה לנתק את יעקב לנצח mikol inyan shel kedusha. Esav comes in our Parsha, he sees and he's heard about Yaakov Avinu, and he knows he's been continuing Masoret Beit Abba V'Saba. He's been a very faithful member of the family for so long. And that's what he hates more than anything. He doesn't necessarily want Yaakov dead. He just wants him to be spiritually dead because he knows that for Yaakov Avinu, that's worse than physical death. He knows that if Yaakov Avinu is spiritually dead, that would be a bigger onesh to give Yaakov than killing him. Killing him would be sparing him. Killing his neshama would be torture, right? And this is what happens in this epic meeting over here in the beginning of Vayishlach, right? Etzleinu, Reb Shlomo says, by us, כשאנחנו נשארים בודדים באיזה עניין, when we're left alone in a certain matter, and we feel lonely, אנחנו מתייאשים לפעמים, we sometimes go into despair. אנחנו תלויים בעולם שסביבנו, we're so dependent on the world that's around us, ומושפעים ממנו, and we're so influenced by it. אבל כשהתקיים ביעקב, ויבשר יעקב לבדו, but when Yaakov had these words be mekuyam in him, that they existed within him, what ends up happening? הוא הגיע למדרגה שהיו לו הכוח והעוצמה להיות לבד. He had all the strength in the world from this moment on, which was inherited by you and I, that we could be all alone in the world and still have all the koyach in the world to keep on going. Which is so true about Am Yisrael in the world, that it's also true individually. Everyone always says, Al pi teva, according to nature, it does not make any sense in the world that Jews still exist in the world. Just as a pshat, it doesn't add up, right? It doesn't add up. I don't know, you probably know what the percentages are, right? What is it?
Not good.
No, like the percentage of humanity. No, it's not good or good. 0.2?
Less than 2.
Huh?
It's 2.
0.02 or something.
So that's 0.02, I think. Yeah. Still made. Remember, I don't know if you saw this.
It's basically impossible.
Rogan was asked recently, right? On his podcast, how many Jews do you think there are in the world? You saw that?
No.
500 million, he
There's
said.
an old episode with Gadzad, and
Yeah.
they reposted it, but Gadzad corrected him, obviously. He knew.
The answer that Joe Rogan gave was that it was 500 million Jews. So he's sitting there like this is actually, no, because if you look at the world, and you're looking at what people are talking about, you're like, at least, I know they're not like, the billions, but at least it's got to be this gesund number, right? Where did it, what's that?
He's willing to learn, like he did get corrected.
Who?
Joe Rogan.
I'm sorry I brought him up. The whole point over here is that how did we have koach to still be 0.02% and still keep on, how could that be? It's from these words, chevre. ויבשר יעקב לבדו, ויהי איש, עד אלוהיס השחר. Now you all know in Chassidus, when it says, Ad alos hashachar, what does the reference of Ad alos hashachar mean? Mashiach, till the great dawn comes. Then it's going to be like this till Mashiach. It's not going to be that suddenly things are just going to be great and then will be many more people and won't feel lonely in the world. It's going to be like this till Ad alos hashachar. I once said a good Torah like this. Shachar is Rashi Tevis. When Shabbos, when Rosh Chodesh Tevis falls out On Shabbos, which is always Hanukkah, and Rosh Chodesh David, it comes out Shabbos, Hanukkah, and Rosh Chodesh. That's a big I think it's like that this year, actually. When you lift up that Shabbos Chodesh, right, Rosh Chodesh and Hanukkah, something amazing happens. We have the koyach to still do this thing alone because of what happened that fateful night when Yaakov was fighting with Sarah Shel Esav, to still be alone.
In the context of this, is it a person's struggling with himself?
It's in your, that's a beautiful drush. I think that's beautiful what you just said.
Not that I know about struggles.
Huh?
For those that know about struggles.
Right, you don't know about struggles, but there are chevre that struggle. You have to talk to them. I don't know. Yeah, right. Yossi will tell you after. No, he doesn't know about struggles either. There's two guys in the basement, they're not struggling. You ask them, they're okay. Yalla, chevre, next paragraph. This is classic Reb Shlomo this morning. Omek ha'omakim shel hayahadut hu lo rak la'avod et Hashem. The deepest depths of Yiddishkeit is not just to serve God, do mitzvahs, I learn, אלא שכל אחד מאיתנו ימלא את הייעוד של החלקים הכי עמוקים שבו שבנשמתו. But rather it's that every single person fulfills the destiny of these pieces that are so deep in him, to fulfill the destiny of what they were meant to do in this world. I have to figure out what that is, right? I have to figure out what that is. Wouldn't it be a shame if I went through this world and never dedicated any koyach to that, and was under the assumption that if I'm a shachris mincha marev daf yomiyid, I would be fine? Wouldn't that be scary if that's how I spent the rest of my life? Thinking that I'm fulfilling the destiny. I may be doing holy things. No, I am doing. Those are holy things. But to fulfill the ye'ud, the destiny of my neshama, that's something else. אני צריך לחיות כאילו אני בודד בעולם. I have to live as if I'm totally alone in this world. ושום אדם לא יוכל לבצע את מה שמוטל עליי. And that no one else can fill the task that was placed upon me. This is a very deep sugya, chevre. This is a very, very deep sugya. Because if I feel that other people could do what I'm doing better, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Because that which I'm supposed to be doing, it's not that no one can do it better. No one can do it bichlal. It's not a matter of better or not better. No one can even do it. Yes?
It's like I heard you say to the bar mitzvah boys. You said to, well, I was there for when you spoke to Shlomo, my son. You said, just remember, you're the only Shlomo that, you're the only one that could do this. No one else could do what you're going to do right now. So just be the best you, which is a beautiful thing. But really, I had a question that's, do you think really, I mean, I hate to put myself in this box that says, like, I don't think I've ever done this, but like, a person could say, like, oh, I see why Hashem created me. This is what Hashem was thinking when he created me. That's it.
Do I think that what?
We could know that thought. Have that, like, figure that out. Like, oh, this is clear to me. This is what Hashem was thinking when he created me.
Yes.
Okay.
לפעמים אנחנו because can you imagine the answer would be no? Then just close that. Let's go home. What do you mean?
I don't think it's intellectual.
It's what Ishbitzer calls binas halev. It's the wisdom of the heart. Yeah. So if we go where we usually absorb, understand things, then no, right?
It's flow state.
It can't be coming from a place of that makes sense, and therefore I look, well, this is good, and that must be it. No. It comes from Vayishlach Yaakov levado. It comes from that. Only from that. And yes, 1,000,000%. And what a shame it would be to go through this world not finding that out. Now you'll say, wait a second, there's so many people in the world that never found that out, and it looked like they were pretty much okay. So the Rebbes would say, yeah, they maybe did a lot of good things, but they have to come back in the next Gilgal. We don't want to have to come back. We want to do it now. Okay, there's a lot of hands up. I'm not taking anything right now because I want to continue right now inside. Sometimes we miss the point. That's very interesting. We go to a place that's called a shul, right? Shomrim Shabbat, everyone's keeping Shabbos, אבל כולם עושים אותם דברים, but everyone's doing the same things. אנחנו נראים כמו ערימת בייגלים זהים. We all look like just a pile of plain bagels. Everyone's just a bunch of bagels, right? Bagelim zehim. This is a very hard Hebrew word right now, okay? En individualiyut. מי הם התלמידים המצוינים בישיבות? Who are the great yeshiva bachrim? בדרך כלל כולם נראים ואומרים אותו דבר. Often, everyone kind of looks the same. Everyone looks like a bunch of tuna bagels. בכל מקום שתלכו אליו, any place you go to. אבל אדם גדול באמת, but a real great person, הוא כבר נראה שונה לגמרי. They look completely different. And he's going to give examples here. לחוזה מלובלין היו מאות תלמידים, אבל מי מהם ראוי לציין? Right? The Choyes of Lublin. He had hundreds and hundreds of students. But who are the ones that stand out? אלה שהייתה להם דרך מיוחדת שלהם. Those that had their own unique derech, their own unique thing going on. Harebe Miropshitz, who lo Harebe Miziditchov. The Ropshitzer is not the Ziditchover. These are names of the great, great, great tzaddikim that you could find on this plaque of fame. Harebe Miziditchov, who lo ha-Yehudi HaKadosh. The Ziditchover Rebbe is not the Holy Yid of Pshischa. Va-Yehudi HaKadosh, who lo Harebe Midinov. They're not the same. Right? The Yid HaKadosh is not the Bnei Sachar. Kol echad mehem zachal lachsof et omek ha'omakim shel nishmato ha'meyuchedet. You know why they're not the same thing? Because each of them had to go through a moment of feeling alone in this world. And in that moment of aloneness, that which makes them so unique, precious, and beautiful, and essential to the world was revealed to them. And they brought that to the world. Like someone once came to the Beis Yaakov, I think the story is, they Ishbitzer, and they said to him, it's very interesting, it doesn't look like you're acting like the way your Abba did, your father did, the Me'ashilach. It doesn't seem like it's the same, like you're continuing the Masoret. He's like, what do you mean? My father was a total Chiddush, and so am I. I'm following that Masoret of being a Chiddush. These are, once you taste this of your own specialness, you don't think, you can't ignore it. Because if you ignore it, you end up hating yourself. You end up despising yourself. And then you come back with the taina on God, why did you create me like this even? I would have much rather not finding this stuff out, because I can't sleep at night. Because now I have to do this. I can't ignore it. And I try to do other things, it doesn't work. כשהולכים לרבה מבבב, second to bottom paragraph, when you go to the Baba Rebbe, זו שבת מסוג אחר. That's a different type of Shabbos. וכשהולכים לרבה מקלויזנברג, זו שבת מסוג אחר. It's a different Shabbos. Mojitz, Shabbat אחרת, meaning it's all different inyanim, you know, like the chevre, I'm just saying, lahavdil, but not lahavdil. Our chevre that are in Yerushalayim, Pnima, Yonatan Atias and Ben De Toledo, right? Our dear brothers there. Mamish brothers. They have to do their thing. Yeah, there's a taste of what they got from us, but the whole inyan is you have to do your thing. It's not about satellites and there's no manual for the real stuff. There's no manual. The manual is Vivaser Yaakov levado. That's the manual, right? And I'm so proud of them. You know what's happening there? It's amazing. And they just moved into a bigger place, and now they have Yehuda davening for them every Shabbos. I think Kimat. It's like it's unbeatable. And people are asking all the time, you know, did you hear about this new place, Pnima? There's something really new and fresh there. And often I'll be like, no, tell me about it. I want to hear it. No, Bemet, I want to hear it like fresh from that, like just unfiltered. What's the experience like for you? And to taste that, it's like, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. But anything that's going to do something real, anyone that's going to do something real in this world has got to have tasted this moment of feeling completely alone. Completely alone. And then you get the revelation of what you're supposed to be doing in this world, and everything then tastes different. You have this, it's all good. But everything is in accordance, like he says, in accordance to the depth of your soul. That's why sometimes it's so painful. You come to a city, and they pride themselves in saying, we have 25 different shuls here, just on this like 2-mile radius, right? So I've had experiences like this. I'll be somewhere for Shabbos and they want to show me around all these, right? I can't remember if I walked into this place or walked out of this place because everything is more or less the same exact thing, just different name on the, the money name is different.
No, like on steroids.
That's why Minion Man was such a Gewalt song.
Won't you stay with us for Shabbos, Minion Man?
It was needed.
Because it was needed.
It was a square. I mean, whatever.
Kach ze gam belimud Torah. This is also regarding learning Torah. Yeshnan alfei drachim lilmod Torah. There are thousands of ways to learn Torah. Lo derech achat. It's not just one way to learn Torah. Hagmara omeret sheyeshnam shiv'im drachim. The Gemara in Shabbos says there's 70 different ways to actually learn Torah. Ulechol derech, and each of the 70 has 70 more ways. This is very similar to Rabbi Nachman's Torah about Torah learning is like where you walk through one door, right? And then the Rebbe says, then there's a bunch more doors behind that door. And then you keep on learning Torah and get deeper, and then you open another door, and there's all these other doors right in front of you as well. It doesn't mean that the other doors are wrong. It means that the one that you have to choose has to be in accordance to your sharish neshama. In accordance to your, I'm thinking about this so profoundly right now because I had the privilege last night to be with Weinberger for a little bit. I was looking, I was like, today it's already a davar mekubal. It was like it's an accepted thing that he is the way he is, and it's an Indian in the world, and it's not like wow, what a different thing this is. It's like, yeah, this is it. It is such a chiddush. What he's done, what he keeps on doing, it is such a chiddush in this world. And to hear him speak about Rav Kook, the way he speaks about Rav Kook with the Satmar Rebbe in the same paragraph, and then go to the Ishbitzer and then start quoting lyrics of modern Israeli artists like Zedvarim shelo lo la'amin, but you don't think that's lonely? Oh my God, bitter lonely. Bitter lonely. So now it's already 30, 40 years since that whole Parsha began, but there's so many Talmidim that share that it's a lonely pain, but it's a good pain. It's lonely, but it's good. But in the essence of it, it had to be a chiddush, because Vayishlach Yaakov levado. So he keeps it on the bottom. He says there's 70 ways to learn. Each one of the 70 has 70. Ulechol achat mashvim alalu yesh od 70 drachim ad ein sof. Next page. But Vayishlach Yaakov levado. Yaakov Avinu is left all alone. Yaakov Avinu nishar levad. Hu ratza bechol meodo la'avod et Hashem baderech hamiyuchedet shelo. He wanted to serve Hashem in his own unique way. Ki'ilu rak Hashem v'hu kayamim ba'olam. As if only him and Hashem exist in the world. You know what happens to you if you really feel that it's just you and the Ribbana Shleilim in the world? Then there's something that you end up doing that was never done in the world. Because you don't have anyone to, I don't want to say imitate, I would say emulate. Not in a bad way, even in a nice thing. But there is no one there. So when you get to this place of Vayishlach Yaakov levado, what happens to you? Hisgalus haneshama, your soul is revealed to you. You have a clearer path towards fulfilling the destiny of your deepest depths. But what emanates from it is a new way of serving Hashem that never, ever existed before. You know who gets threatened by when they see a chiddush? I'm not talking about against halacha, within the world of halacha, obviously. You know who gets threatened by people that are chadshanim? Who?
Bagels.
Why? Yeah, why? No, but why?
It's uncomfortable for them.
It takes them out of it, drives them crazy.
We fear change.
It drives them crazy. They don't know what to do with themselves. The bagels start they start doing mechaz. They start doing how do you say mecha'a? They start doing protesting. They start, chadash asur min haTorah, all these things, right? As if they understand what chadash means and asur min You know, my first day in Yeshivat HaMivtar, here in Efrat, when I first moved here, it was Gimel Elul. The yeshiva started on Gimel Elul that year. That's Rav Kook's Yortzeit. And one of the greatest tzaddikim that I ever met, and most beautiful Jews, and a Chiddush Dika Yid that I ever met, was one of my Rebbeim at the yeshiva at the time. His name was Rav Natan Siegel. Zecher Tzadik HaKadosh Livrocha, L'chaya Ha'olam Haba. He was very much makpid to actually say out that Roshei Tevis. That's how I got it from him. Zatzal Hayei Zecher Tzadik HaKadosh Livrocha, L'chaya Ha'olam Haba. Most of you didn't. Did you know him, Yossi? Rabbi Natan Siegel? Yeah. Short, danced like. When he danced, you were standing by the Magid of Mezrich's table. You were by Reb Zusha. He was literally this living chiyus of all the things we speak about and long for. So the first day of yeshiva, it was Gimel Elul. And the first thing I heard from him was, our problem with our Yiddishkeit is that we have no idea how to deal with eclectic minds. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the yeshiva that I chose. I thought it was like this, you know, he was the first thing I heard in that yeshiva. It wasn't, the rest of the day was pretty heavy, straight learning, but for a few minutes in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, did I actually, the whole thing was amazing, but that was really amazing. But that line stuck with me. We don't know how to deal with eclectic mind. So when you don't know how to deal with an eclectic mind, because you feel threatened, what do? Zeo, chosem, muchram, off, puzzle, treif, done with you. ויבשר Yaakov levado. This is what he's saying again, Yaakov inu shai levad. You know how eclectic you become when you're alone and you taste aloneness in the holiest way? Yaakov wants to serve Hashem b'derech hamiyuchedet shelo, as if only him and Hashem exist in the world. Second line in the middle. V'ze nachon gam lekol echad meitanu. And it's true about each and every one of us. Kamuvan, leolam lo eyeh k'mo Avram Avinu. I'll never be like Avram Avinu. But guess what? That's good news. You know why? Ki ze lo hayeut sheli. Because if Hashem wanted me to be like Avram Avinu, you know what the craziest thing is? I would have been Avram Avinu. Ani tzarich lasot mashu acher. I have to do something else. I have to take from Avram Avinu and do something else. Moshe Rabbeinu mila et hayud hamiyuchad shelo. Moshe Rabbeinu fulfilled his special destiny. The Baal Shem Tov et shelo, and the Baal Shem did his thing. Kol adam tzarich limtzo ech hu amur leheraot kshu karov laHashem. Every person has to find out what they're supposed to look like when they're close to Hashem. Ech ani nir'eh lemala b'shamayim. How do I look? What do I look like up there in the shamayim? It's stuff we never even think about. We're just trying to get through our nona. But you understand that there's a whole part of our lives that has to be dedicated to this. Reb Shlomo would often ask people, what do you think God thinks of you? And their answers were always based on the mitzvah avera tali. That's what their answer is usually based on. Such a shallow, pathetic God. If that's the way Hashem looks at us, yeah, Eli.
Yeah, so it's obviously a minor to not be so normal, sounds from the other share, but the question in halakha, like if a person is more halakhic, like minded, not that I am, but I'm more into the soul, but I understand those mindsets as well, because they're looking for mitzvahs that yefshar l'kayim acherim, meaning there's no one else can do this mitzvah, so that becomes, in a way, through the system of Torah, they find themselves. So it's not like it's only like a more like flowing kind of neshama who's going to find himself. It's also these more Torah dika halacha yid, and if they're really mevakish to emes, they'll find mitzvahs like just being a father or being a friend, or this is a mitzvah no one else can do. So I'm obligated to be a husband right now, and I'm bringing down a unique light that no one else can bring in this mitzvah that I'm the only person that can do it. So for those kind of people, I imagine they also find their yehud. It just doesn't look as ruchni or whatever as other people might, associate with.
Nachon? Nachon? It doesn't mean that when you find your yehud, now you're going to look like the biggest chadchan in the world.
Yeah.
But even if you hold with what you're saying, it could mean that I'm going to learn Baba Basra right now in a way that was never, ever learned before. I'm going to bring out giluim atzumim just from that.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not trying to be an imitator and an imposter, as long as you're really trying to reveal from your deepest depths of your neshama what you're really all about. So it's a good point that you're making. אנחנו מוכרחים להוציא לאור את עומק העומקים של עצמנו. We must bring to light our deepest depths of our soul, של נשמתנו. אולי אני שומר שבת כמו כולם. Maybe I keep Shabbos like everyone. I daven, מתפלל, מקדש, do kiddush, אוכל gefilte fish like everybody else, אוכל עוף. I eat chicken like everyone else. I bench, מברך והולך לישון and go שלוף. אני יכול לנהוג כך שוב ושוב מדי שבת. I could do this on repeat every single Shabbos. אבל בלי שזה קשור אליי, לפנימיות שלי. But without any of that being connected to me, to my insides. רק כשאני ממלא את הייעוד שלי. Only when I fulfill my destiny, הנשמה שלי מתגלה, my soul is revealed. Now listen to this power bomb Torah over here. הרבי הקדוש מצנזר אומר, the Tzanzer Rebbe says, שאת הדבר, this is so, I hope we give this over right, because this is like, Reb Shlomo said this many times, but I was always besuffic if it came over clearly in this farm. Let's see if we could do this. הרבי הקדוש מצנזר אומר, שאת הדבר שאני זקוק לו ביותר, that which I need more than anything, לא אמצא כתוב מפורש בתורה. I'm not going to find it written out clearly in the Torah. That which I really need to know, right? אם כל דבר היה כתוב שחור על גבי לבן, if everything was written black on white, מי היה צריך את הריבונו שלנו? Then who would need God? Do you hear? I mean, I've heard this line for so many years, but I want to know, does this stir or shtim? Does it stir you up or does it shtim? Or you have no idea what he just said right now? Okay, I'm going to say it again, all right? Chevre, wake up and be with me right now. Listen to this. The Tzanzer Rebbe says that which I need more than anything in this world, that which will bring me to my ye'ud, that which will lead me to the revelation of my soul and make me feel alive and will create for me my path that I know I must be on, cannot be found written mefurash in a pasuk or in a halacha. Because, he says, if everything that I needed on that level was written clearly in any text, then what wouldn't be needed? Huh? What wouldn't be needed? Hashem. Hashem. Hashem wouldn't be needed. So the fact that there's a hastara kivyachol, there's like a concealment, and it's not open to me, is the greatest gift in the world, because what does it make me do?
Look for it.
Go to the one, to the only one, to go to Hashem. Without this, like if it was just written out somewhere, and why is it so painful to say? Because there are so many beautiful Yidden that are under the assumption that it's all written out there. Don't start hacking me. It's just don't start trying to be a Oiber Chochem. It's right there. It's right there. Huh?
Whatever is written is necessary step to the...
As long as you know that there's a next one.
Yeah.
That's the trap. That's the trap. אני לא יודע איך להשיג את הדבר שאני זקוק לו ביותר. I don't know how to reach, how to grasp that which I need more than anything. ולכן אני מתפלל ומבקש מריבונו שלם שיברך אותי. ושתהיה לי הזכות להשיג אותו. So I'm davening and asking ריבונו שלם bless me, that I should have the merit to get to the dreams you have for me, which aren't written down anywhere. They only come from a place of ויבשר יעקב לבדו. ויאבק איש עמו עד עלות השחר, only from there. So this is how he ends here, ויבשר יעקב לבדו. That night that we're reading about in our Parsha, יעקב אבינו נותן לכל יהודי את הכוח שהנשמה שלו באמת תתגלה ממעמקים. When you're reading this Parsha again and you're going through it and you're reading about that fateful night where all these things happened on that night, experience it the way that we just learned it now, with the emunah that Yaakov Avinu is giving the koyach to every single yid, that you will get there. What does that mean, you will get there? That your neshama, which means the deepest depths of you, what you really are made out of, and the dreams that Hashem has for you, and what Hashem thought about when creating you, will eventually be revealed to you. It will. But you have to go through this place of feeling that there's nothing and there's nobody in the world, rakata, only you. You have to get to that place. I have to get to that place. I have to. Perhaps that's why Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Reb Nachman ben Feges, Chus Yagen Aleinu, the whole Inyan was, what do you think his Baridus was? What do you think it was? Mental health? Of course it is, but what do you think the Nekuda Pnimis of it, right? So as we said many times, when you look in the Likutei Moharan, Sichas Haran, the Lashon the Rebbe uses there is Yefaresh Sichasa Lifnei Kono. That his Baridus is the moment where, when you're talking to Hashem, because there's only Hashem, and there's no one else around, and it's Mamish Vayishlach Yaakov levado. So I always said this, and I have to check with Reb Chaim Kramer if he makabels this, because I think it's good, but it works for me. But I want to, this is an Indian I would want to hear from him. Yefaresh sichaso means you finally give a perush to your constant sicha you have with Hashem, and you start understanding yourself. You start understanding what you even want to do in this world. You give a perush to your own sicha, to your own conversation, and you're just doing it. It's happening between you and yourself. It just happens to be you're doing it lifnei boro, lifnei kono, in the presence of Hashem. So therefore, how could a person go through this world any day, the Rebbe says, without that Vayivasa Yaakov levado experience? How could you do that? How could you go? What's the day going to be like? What's life if not meeting that like that? There's going to come a time, Reb Nosson said this, he said, it'll be, I don't know if he said hundreds of thousands of years, but he said there's going to come a time that there's going to be a bunch of Heilige Yidden, and they're going to hear about a period in Yiddishkeit where people viewed his Baridus as optional, and they're not going to believe that such a generation existed. So, when I think about that, I say I really don't want to be part of the chevre that thought that it's possible to actually know what in the world we're doing, and I want to be part of the people that knew that it was impossible. You think any of these Israeli politicians, leaders, or even rabbis in high places have a chance of knowing what this door needs without having Vayivasa Yaakov levado? There's chit-chat around them all day long. All day and all night. They're never alone. Ever. And does anyone feel like we're being led to a more meduyak place here as people? As individuals, maybe. As a people? Come on. Ma pitom. So Reb Shlomo said in that famous concert in Brooklyn College after the Yom Kippur War, he said, friends, Israel has no friend in the world. The holy land, the holy people of Israel are all alone. Hein am levadad yishkain. But you know what we have? One friend in heaven. And that's all we need. We have one friend in heaven. These words should give us koach to get our hiskashrus with Hashem Yisbarach, with just direct, just mamash, the most, it should be just a beautiful, warm, we just got to let go of all the traumas from childhood, meaning in terms of, not chalila abusive stuff, I'm saying like educational stuff and the small katnus of Hashem versions that they gave us, enough already. Machal, your teachers, they did the best they thought they could. We're in Eretz Yisrael now. It's Erev Mashiach. We have Torahs that are available in our footsteps that are like, yalla. Now, much more to the beat of our own drums, and everyone's going to be a chiddush. When you do this, everyone's going to be a chiddush. Everyone's going to be something completely new that never existed before, and it'll be clear that the world couldn't have existed, couldn't continue to exist, unless your chiddush was in this world. And if you could give that over to someone, you gave them for sure olam hazeh, because now they have actually what to do in this world, and definitely you give them olam haba as well. We should be zocheh to be from those that provide those places for people. B'ezrat Hashem.